All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our next topic for term two. So this topic is called "Why Should We Care?" which is our big question for this term. And what we're going to do is we're going to just look at a few different topics and think about why should we care about our resources and why is it important to look after them. So before we can get into that, though, I'm going to need you to create a social science folder in your Google Drive and make a Google Doc in that folder called "Why Should We Care?" Then on that Google Doc, can you skip the first page because we'll come back to that later? And on the second page, I just want you to list 10 things you care about the most in your life. So number one should be the thing you care about the most above all others. Sweet as? So that's just the starter activity. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to get into identifying how the way we've interacted with the environment has changed over time. So we're going to look at how New Zealand's environment has changed, and we're going to reflect on what you know already, plus what places might be significant to you. So last term we kind of looked at how the ways we use our environment has changed already. So we did a bit of a spot the difference. We looked at hunter gatherers, and then we looked at the agricultural revolution, and basically the difference between the two. And we watched this video, right, to think about how we've changed. So basically, we had this thing called the agricultural revolution. So before this, we were nomadic people. We were hunters and gatherers. We would have travelled in small, close-knit groups, and we would have to have worked together to survive. So what changed around these fertile plains and near rivers or bodies of water? We started farming and we started growing things. So basically, this meant we turned into stagnant people that stayed in one place, and we developed things like villages and communities, and our population started to grow and grow because we had a steady flow of resources, right? Food. This eventually led, thousands of years later, to the Industrial Revolution, factories, and the modern world that we know today. But what I want to do is focus a bit more on New Zealand. So, how has New Zealand's environment changed? So, the first thing I want you to do is have a look at these two pictures, sorry. And what I want you to do is play a little bit of spot the difference. So, I just want you to find 10 things that are different from picture on the left to the picture on the right, just to have a look. How has New Zealand's environment changed over time? Just have a think about that. Once you've done that, I'm just going to spout off a little bit of information. Okay, so this picture on the left is what New Zealand looked like 20,000 years ago. So 20,000 years ago, it was a bit colder on the Earth, and the ocean water was locked up in massive ice sheets. So sea levels were 120 to 130 meters lower than they are today. So this extended the land area of New Zealand, and the North and South Islands were actually joined. So you could technically walk from Wellington to the South Island over one of these ice sheets. But 12,000 years ago, things started to get a bit warmer, and the Cook Strait was flooded, and the temperature had warmed sufficiently that the sea level was only about 70 metres. So the two islands became separate, and we had the North and South Island of New Zealand. Over time, New Zealand's also changed a bit more. So we've gone from being covered in forest to we've got a lot more fernland, grassland, shrubland, or swampland. And then when people started visiting New Zealand and came here to live, it changed even more. So Māori arrived in New Zealand, they altered the landscape by burning forest and cultivating crops. And when European settlers arrived, the pace of this change increased with the introduction of large-scale agriculture, so farming. So you can look at both pictures that the forest is pretty much gone. So this is what a Māori village sort of looked like back in the day. So you could look at, they have the different areas, they've got rooms for crops, and usually they'd be near some kind of body of water, both for, well, probably for fishing mostly. And then you can see sort of this is kind of like the land that the Europeans got met with. So quite swampy. And what they'd have to do is they'd have to turn that into farmland, which required a whole lot of work. You'd have to make drainage ditches like this. It was pretty disgusting, messy work, and you could probably get quite sick working in trench diggings like this. But what this did was help to irrigate the land and make it being able to used for grasslands and farming. And that's how you get New Zealand today, which looks something like this. So what I want you to do on your Google Doc is the questions in blue should be your prior knowledge, and the questions in red I want you to have a Google and try to find information about. So the ones in blue about what you think already or what you know already, because I'm sure you would have faced things about the environment or something like that in your education so far. And the bits in the red are things that I'd just like you to research about pollution and about the environment, okay? Then what I want you to do is, can you please personally reflect on your own relationship with the environment? So what do you do to help the environment yourself? And it's perfectly okay to say, I absolutely do nothing. I'm a teenager. What do you expect from me, right? The second part is, what does your family do to help the environment? So this could be things like, even if you've got a recycling bin at home or something like that. And then this question in green. So, do you think that people should care more about the environment? So, this is your own personal opinion. And remember, at college, you should be telling me why you think things. So, you shouldn't just be saying yes or no. You should be saying, yes, I think we should care about the environment because blah, 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 blah. Or no, I don't think we should because blah, 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 blah. Then what I want you to do for me is, this is another bit of a personal thing. So you're going to describe for me the most beautiful place you've ever visited in New Zealand. So I just want you to start by saying what you could see, hear, smell, and taste if you were in this place. I know taste is a bit of a weird one, but maybe you could taste the fresh air. I don't know. And then what I want you to do is then copy in a picture of this place and then answer these questions. So what made it so beautiful, and how did you feel when you were there? So this is personal to you, so it should be up to you what you pick. It could be different for anyone, right? So if I was going to do this, I'd probably do Riversdale Beach. It's the beach my family used to go to when I was a kid. It was quite special to me growing up. And then I would answer these questions based on that place, right? The last thing I want you to do is, I want you to go back to that first page that we skipped on the Google Doc, and you just need to make a title page, okay? So this is meant to be creative. So what it needs to have is, why should we care? A question in bold writing. It needs to have some kind of border or a picture of the beautiful places in New Zealand, and at least 5 other things you think people should care about. And it could have a bit of colour, some environmental symbols, animals, foods, important environmental landmarks. It's up to you how it looks. I just want you to make a title page, okay? So once you've done that, you've actually done the social studies work I want you to do for this week, and you can chill. Next week on Monday, I'll be posting the next activity. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Cool. Thank you.